Good evening everyone. I am Sharvika S, a student of NVS Vidyalaya Vettuvani. My roll number A8. Reading is one of the most marvelous adventures that anyone can have. So I am here to review a book that I have read named Into the Wild. This book was written by R. Katpagam and was published by Nestling Books Publishing and Distributors. It contains 72 pages and 15 chapters. The author wishes to convey this message that always remember we are the forest belongs to animals and we are only outsiders. So let us learn and respect the rights of the animals. And I have gained more knowledge by reading this book, and this book she's shared more experience that about trekking and climbing the mountains and forest and animals habitat. She said about more types of animals and forest, trees, plants and so on. Let us see about the chapters. There are 15 chapters. First chapter is the Mulli Our Second Home. Mulli Our Second Home. In this chapter, she said that this is her first visit to the forest, and she have 13 students with her. So totally 14 groups. With the 14 groups, she went to trekking, and she has the forest gods with her. On the way to the forest god said that her to obey more rules that should be followed in the forest. They should not talk loud, they should not play more loud musics in their vehicles, and they should not honk their vehicle horns and so on. They saw an elephant by their way and they saw more animals. She explained about that in this first chapter. Second chapter is Forest at Night. They have stayed in a forest and in a watchtower. They stayed in there, and the tribal women and men played ancient instruments, and tribal women give her a KAP and welcomed them. When the men started to play the instruments, the woman started to sing. That she have shared with us in this book. The third chapter is Religion and Forest. Religion and Forest. This is in this chapter she said about the types of lizards that look on the way to the forest. They saw Agoma lizard and monitoring lizard. The monitoring lizard looks at them so suspicious, and they were not afraid she said us that they are not afraid of them, that no one touched the forest, so the lizards and the animals were not afraid and it moved freely. The fourth chapter was An Adventure Where Everything Went Wrong. This is according to the title. They planned to go to Chikali, and on the way to that Chikali, their car vehicle have broken down. Then they called the range officer. They said there is no connection, so the range officer call is not going on. So her husband and the forest god went to talk with the range officer in there, and she and the girls and boys were standing alone. So she was so afraid and panicked, and next the car came. Arranged car came. They started their more adventurous and thrilling incident that she have faced, and an adventure totally went wrong. What they have think it doesn't happen in there. Next, chapter 5, Dame Luck Smiles on Us. On the way to forest, they saw a leopard that has staring at them. The driver shows the headlights on the leopard's face. So the leopard was very lazy, and it went some from, and went back to the bushes. So they said that the driver said that you are very lucky, a dame luck smiles on us. That's the title they mentioned. Next chapter is chapter 6, in a watchtower. In another one watchtower they have staying, but the tower room is very small. So the girls has allowed to stay in the tower room, and the boys has to stay in the staff's room. They have to share that. So the boys pretended like why we want to share this, why girls are getting most then like more happens. She explained about that detailedly. Next, chapter 7, Mudumalai. Mudumalai is an south picnic spot that they went, and it is important migratory route for elephants. She said about Mudumalai and more animals that she has seen in that, and she shared a more experience that she have in that Mudumalai Malai. Next, chapter 8 is Avalanche. It is pronounced that Avalanche. It is a place, it is a busy village where tea shops and most of this can be there. Next chapter is chapter 9, the Yethukati. The Yethukati elephant. They saw in the way of the forest. They hid in a temple for past 1 hour, and the elephant just came near, but they didn't came inside. So they have escaped, and they saw some camera traps that is kept there to take photographs. This is very useful to check the population of the animals. Next, they went to Talamalai. The way out to Talamalai, they have seen more animals and more creatures. Next chapter is chapter 10, Talamalai. From Dimbam checkpost, they choose a very beautiful forest route for Talamalai. They saw 3 families of Malabar squirrels, and they saw an elephant and with the mother and the calf. They both have walking on the roadsides, so they were afraid, and the forest guard said to stop. And next she shared about more experience that have happened in the Talamalai. Next chapter is anti-poaching watches and our conservation efforts. In this chapter, she said about the anti-poaching watches, that is APWs, very difficult lives. They have no proper houses, they have no proper food, they have to risk their life, and they have to patrol over day and night. They have to risk their life by walking in the forest. It is not a permanent job. They have only major salary and so on. They are very suffering a lot, but they are risking their life for this job. And like she said about more. Next chapter is chapter 12, the Tengu Marahada in December. In this there was a flooding that happens in December, January and some other months. Like there was a flood, so their route was very muddy and very slippery. So the driver went very slow. 15 minutes they only reached 55 meters. So like they went very slow. Next they saw very fresh kill and a leopard standing on the tree, and more villages and animals habit, how they are eating the animals. The leopard eat the deers, all that leaves the leg and a horn in the branches of the tree, and so on. She explained more about her experience. Chapter 13 Mukurti Wilderness Ruins. Mukurti is a place where stored away in the Nilgiris. They went to a way of the forest. They had another young driver who looks like a car racer. The narrator said that he drove very fast in the bumpy road. So she said that to the driver, so goes very slow because we are so afraid of her. And she said that she have pumped her nose in the car's front seat. And the son-in-law and her husband was very enjoyment and catching the luggages to not fall in that fall and thrown out. Finally, they reached a guest house, forest guest house, and there was wonder who is their caretaker, and they know about that the driver is their caretaker and a guide also. So they said that he is very good than a driver as a caretaker. He prepares a vegetable kuruma and chapati, and they played a game in the veranda, and they have a very beautiful day in her life. She said like that. And they have a very good meals, and they played a game named Seven Stones, and they enjoyed. Next chapter was Chapter 14 Survey in Mulli. In survey in Mulli, the DFOs asked them to clean the river Attakadavu. They cleaned the plastic bottles, the plastic plates, shoes, and the tourists who left all over the plastic things they have taken and thrown, and they have find the Attakadavu river bank, and they had their lunch and they enjoyed in survey in Mulli. That's the title, the survey in Mulli. It's very beautiful, the very important and very beautiful adventure that they had. And next chapter is chapter 15, the chase. The chase, they will have their lunch, and they want to provide uniform for the 34 APWs in the Talavadai range. So they was going in a very chasey way that she have explained the title as the chase. And she said that she saw a elephant, the glimpsy elephant, and she had a very beautiful a beautiful adventure, and she explained about more. That's all the chapters. There are only 15 chapters, and I have learned a very more things that he had, and about more animals, and I hope you understood about the book, and I wish if you could read this book, confirm you should read this. Thank you. Have a nice day.